Hey y'all, back at it again. Peter Bros Golf Show. As the TGL finals wrap up, what do you think about that, man? Successful season for TGL, first
Yes,
inaugural season, and what do you think?
it was a very good season with the delay and everything. It was definitely a dope season. Um, I mean, it can you can you in figuratively you could only go up from here. And apparently, there's
Right.
word that LPGA is joining. Hopefully, there's more teams involved. So yeah, I think expansion is on the way, and I think it's a good thing. I definitely enjoyed it. I DVR'd every season or every episode. I guess my fault.
Yeah, I think if they add the ladies in next year or in the coming years, I think that's what we've been clamoring more from the ladies, more visibility, and I think that's just
Yeah,
nothing but good on their side to just get their faces out there. Um, I mean, we don't get to see a lot of their personalities. I think the only maybe downside will be the travel with the Asian swing. When do they do it? As they're gone across, you know, the world for 3 or 4 weeks at the beginning of the season. So might
yeah.
not mirror the gentleman, might be later in the season, but either way, I think it'll be a good addition. Um, saw Alexis Ohanian, husband of Serena Williams, co-owner of one of the TGL teams, pushing for that. So it's cool to have advocates of the ladies' game, and that was one of the first questions that he asked when he enlisted. So I think it's all good in a world where things seem to be going backwards. To have some progress moving forward and growing the ladies' game of golf, I think it honestly has had the biggest upswing and has the biggest kind of runway for success. And I think the stats are bearing that out. We see that in the polling and anywhere where there's less drama and toxicity. I think the fans are going to be drawn to that, and we haven't seen that out of the ladies. So, kudos to them. All right, let's kick it off. We'll lead off with the cover story for today. Vic Hovland, man, it's been a long year and a half. I'm gonna pull this up just right off the bat. So August the 7th, we had a show in 2023. Left out of that show with this being the thumbnail for the week. Vic was on an incredible run at this time. We saw him win the FedEx Cup that year, playing incredibly well. Had a couple of victories in 2023. Looked like he was indestructible and was kind of next up for a long time. The way his game was trending, but he's been largely silent and away from the tops of leaderboards since that point. And we see him go out, capture the Valspar, play clutch in the snake pit yesterday. Had to go win it. JT did a little bit of falling back. Well, we'll touch on that in a little bit. But what did you think about Vic finally returning? And then we'll get into some more of the nuance around his comments after the win as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's finally returning. I mean, I think he did enough to win. I think he is rounding back into shape. I think, he's really on his third teacher in like the last month, week, year and a half as well. Um, I don't know, man. The quest for perfection kind of got to him. I mean, I felt we know he's a young guy. We know, I guess the thing, maybe not the quest for perfection, but really you doing the same thing, really, I guess, kind of got boring to him. I don't know. I'm really trying to justify why he would even try to change things up when it was, a well tuned machine, and it wasn't anything wrong with it. He just, pretty much was on his way to winning the FedEx as he did the later that year, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was good to see him back on top. It was good to see him, kind of in the picture again because again, young talent, something the PGA is looking forward to, and trying to move the game towards that light. So yeah, overall, it was a good look for Vic and for the PGA. But yeah, I think the quest for perfection got him a little bit. I mean, and I mean that was very air apparent him not winning or even really being relatively close these last, at least for sure, half year or so, if not a
Yeah,
full year and a
hadn't
half.
even haven't even touched it since that FedEx Cup. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just like you'll hear him pop up. He may be in the early coverage going into a week, but just hasn't competed on the same level that we got used to. I mean, to think about how young he is and to already have 7 victories, this made number 7. It
yeah,
speaks to how prolific he was winning at one point in time, and I think it's. I'm sure he's just as disappointed as we are as fans to see him not compete because we see the talent, right? We
yeah.
saw him getting better around the greens, which held his game back for a very long time, where he was throwing away a bunch of strokes, losing strokes gained around the greens. Not a bad putter, but chipping was definitely a weak point in his game, and I probably wouldn't still say it's a strength at this stage, but definitely improved. Seems like he's very frustrated maybe with the irons. Driver doesn't seem to be a strong point for him as well right now. So I think he's super nitpicky. Again, we'll get into his quotes and kind of where his mind is at with his game. We wouldn't be surprised if he goes quiet again, based on how he talks about his own self.
Right.
I don't think there could be another harsher critic on Vic Hovland than his own self. And I don't know. We'll After we hear the quotes, I'll get your thoughts on whether you think that's can be beneficial or whether it's not. But do you want to say anything else before I get to his post round interview?
No, no, you can pop that on.
Cool. Hopefully it doesn't bog us down here. Kind of got it loaded up already.
All right, Brian. Victor, sitting there with the trophy to your left, how happy are you with your swing right now?
Yeah, it's still not great. I'm still hitting the same shots that I have been the whole year, really. But it's just I was able to time it extremely well this week, and it felt like every single good shot that I hit, I just saved it really well. Because the club is just not in a great place for me coming down. It's just not what it used to be. So I can't really rely on my old feels anymore because the club is in a different spot and I have to change my release pattern to make that work. Now, incredibly, I did make it work and was able to win. And I think that is something that I'm extremely proud of, that I can show up at a PJ Tour event at one of the hardest golf courses we play all year and still win with not my best stuff. So I think that's really cool. That's something that I'm extremely proud of. But at the same time, it makes this game a lot more stressful than I think it should be.
Could you take this game and compete at Augusta and accomplish what you want to accomplish there?
I mean, if you would have asked me if I was going to win this week with what I had, I probably would have said no. So, but here we are. So it's kind of the same question. I probably shouldn't doubt myself to that extent. I still need to be honest so I can attack the problems that I have and we can improve. But at the same time, I got to give myself some credit, and even no matter how bad it feels or how many poor shots I'm hitting, I'm still capable of shooting good scores with it. So I kind of have to keep that in the back of my head.
All right. So just right off the bat, him kind of laughing at the question about, you know, the the win, his confidence level in his current swing. There's another. It was just too split up, but he was talking about, um, feeling like he's seeking perfection, and anything that he does, he wants to feel perfect. That's why he says he doesn't have a lot of hobbies outside of golf at this point, because he's like, you go do something and you want to get good at it, and you just don't have the time to invest. And so he's like, golf is my thing. That's where I spend my time, working on my perfectionism. Do you think that's beneficial to any golf, any person, him, it sounds like he's really not happy. I mean, he's giggling. I know he's pretty stoic in general, but doesn't just seem to be over the moon about the win. What do you think, man?
Um, I think in general, having other hobbies to kind of get your mind off of your main day to day thing is important. But I get it. I mean, it's your job. I mean, it's your 9 to 5, or, I mean, you're 9 to 9, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's what they do all day. That's what they get paid to do. That's what the sponsors give them money to wear their stuff to do. So I get it, especially if you're in the prime of your of your career. I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't have a lot of fun things to be doing either if I was a professional athlete. I feel like that's just kind of like a good thing to be obsessive like that. I think that's kind of important to like winning, being one of those,
Just obsessive compulsives
yeah, I,
about getting your game.
yeah, I would think that's kind of like, I don't want to put that on them, but like, I think that's kind of prodigy talk there. If you're that obsessed with what you have going on and you're talking about feels that don't feel perfect, and, now I have to work it in and do all these kind of things, that's really why I was tying it in with the quest to perfection. You're trying to play an imperfect game perfectly and not deal with what you already have in front of you, which is a winning product. So
Yeah.
it's a painful cycle that golfers go through. I mean, me and you go through it on the amateur status, on this mid to low handicap status that we deal with, let alone +5, +7, trying to win millions of dollars. So, yeah, I think he kind of screwed himself a little bit, but also this same interview is the reason why I think he's going to be able to bounce back, because even with him not having true faith in what he's got going on, he's still pulling it out of his ass, like literally that win. I mean, he shot
Yeah. It's
a great
saying,
score on Sunday
no, go
and
ahead.
just kept going. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he wins the Masters, but I think he's in the right trend now. I think this could set him towards having possibly a decent to good season, or where he can get into the top 50 in the playoffs and stuff like that, and not necessarily be missing out on bigger money and opportunities and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was ever in danger of falling out of the top 50 or anything crazy, but definitely he peaked at number 3 in the world, and then I think he's down to number 17 right now as of last
no, I mean as
weekend, of
far as
course.
like the FedEx stuff, the world ranking
Oh,
stuff,
for
I know
sure.
he's good.
No,
I know
I
he's
mean,
good.
yeah, FedEx, we're so early in the season that he's got a lot of wiggle room there to, I mean, he could be the next, who are we joking about? I mean, he could be a Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood every year is going to be in there the finals of the FedEx Cup. Is he
Yeah,
winning anything? No, but he's top tens, top 15s, and that stuff starts to add up. So
yeah,
if Victor Hovland can put together a handful of weeks, keep the game consistent, go locate the feels that he's looking for. When he spoke to, you know, if I said I felt my game was good enough to win, I would miss out on essentially the work, right? He's kind of cheating himself out of the
yeah,
opportunity to go work. So, I mean, kudos to him for being wise enough at his young age to understand that, be as professional as he is. It also, I think, he still lives in the Stillwater, Oklahoma area, which is north of Oklahoma City. Not a lot
yeah,
of stuff to do in Stillwater, Oklahoma. He doesn't look like the party type. So he's like got a stable life going on. Doesn't really want for a lot. Really low key type of guy. I think he just spoke to, not really wanting it. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he didn't run for the live money, because that just doesn't fit the lifestyle that he wants to live. So, I mean,
right.
I give all the props to him in the world. Let's get into his what's in the bag. I thought it was very interesting, very eclectic. Um, took note of the 3 wood the final round. I was like, oh, that's not a ping club that he's swinging there. So very interesting seeing his what's in the bag coming out yesterday and today. Pull this up again. So right off the bat, even though he is a ping staffer, no bones about it. Where's the ping logo on the hat? But clearly he's 2 models behind on the driver. The 425 still in the bag. The old Fujikara speeder shaft here, 661 TR X diff, 45.75 with being a tipped 1 inch. And the driver set at 8.5. Saw a couple of measurements that he might be at 8.4 as well. So, what do you think about him rocking the old 425?
Yeah, I mean the G25 is a really good club. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going previous models if it's not hurting you. I mean, the G430 is still a good club. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many. It's just you are trying so much, these manufacturers, to make money and release what they would call the latest and greatest. But I mean, you're eking like the my golf spy guy said. You're eking 1 and 2 miles of ball speed out every year or every 6 months and stuff like that. I mean, how much are you really gaining if you're not hitting out of the middle of the face as it is? I mean,
Right.
so
Right. Maybe
this
tighter
guy is so
dispersion.
right. This guy is so fine tuned. I don't think there's even a necessary need for that. And him playing a 9 degree or 8.5, I think that's insane with the launch that he gets. I think that like that in itself is a talent. You mean you playing an
Yeah.
8.5 and you're launching it like it's a 3 hybrid or a 3 wood or something like that. I mean it.
I mean, he's a strong guy. You can look at the thumbnail today and see the guy is pretty damn ripped. Gets a lot of
Absolutely.
ball speed going. He's got a unique move where it's kind of over the top. It's an interesting setup because it's almost like he sets up for the draw and then does the little kind of it's hard to say it's over the top, but it's almost like a little push fade. It's an
Yeah.
interesting setup, like definitely something that if you get off, I can see where that can just really have a hard time finding the feel back on that type of setup because it's just not
Hmm.
traditional at all. Keep it moving here. Again, that noticeable sim, the original TaylorMade sim, TI at 15 degrees, Fujikara Ventus Black 7X. Definitely has upgraded the shaft, but I mean, that's like a 4-year-old club at this point, maybe 5.
Like closer to 6.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
think
like
about this choice?
2018 or so. I mean, I played my Sim Max for as long as I could. I played that 3 or 4 years deep. I love my Sim Max. I still have it. I actually recently just I had let my coworker borrow it because he was in between drivers. Um,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Hey, do you still have my Sim Max? Give me that back, just in case if this Titleist wants to act up, But
Yeah.
right now, me and my TSR 3 are really having a good time. We're having a bonding moment right now through the season. So it
Okay.
might just kind of hang out in my trunk or slash my office, but it's the same to me. A backup driver is the same as a backup putter. It's nothing for me to put you in timeout, bro. It is nothing for me to put you in timeout.
Yeah. Especially if you have something that's worked for you in the past. Um, it can be easy. Golf is such a game of comfort
Yep.
and feeling good and confidence over what you're about to hit. So if you have good memories from a particular club, um, you know, there's nothing to it. I mean, to go back to it if it's just sitting in the garage waiting for you to pull out of a whole bag. So clearly he's got the feels going on with this thing and really enjoys it. And clearly Ping hasn't been able to put anything out that's bested this 3 wood from years ago. I mean, and TaylorMade is dominating at that point when this club was released, there was nobody even competing in the wood game with TaylorMade. So a lot of
Right.
manufacturers have come up to that level at this stage, but at the point where this one was released, no one was topping what they were doing.
Yeah.
Got a little more eclectic. The Titleist U505 with the graphite design, AAD, and the 85X shaft. Tour AD, man, I'm telling you, making a little bit of a resurgence. Love seeing them out there, that orange and white pattern. Even seeing them drop in the black and white and orange. But clearly, again, strong guy. Doesn't seem like even the type that would consider a hybrid. Just going straight with the utility iron here. What do you think here?
Yeah, I mean the Titleist driving iron, probably one of the better looking ones. Unfortunately, Ping just has a big and bulky one. It really just presents as a game improvement club. It just never really rings off as pretty or aesthetically pleasing or anything like that. Now, I mean, you might pipe it 270, but
Yeah,
I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at
looks
how
like
that looks down by the ball.
you don't want to look at a shovel while you're playing.
Absolutely not. So I definitely think this is probably as adventurous as he gets, really. Everything else in his bag is pretty ping ho hum. I mean, we'll see that
Yeah,
as we go through it, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Ping I-210, 4 through pitching wedge, KBS Tour V120X. Pretty standard. I mean, this is an older iron from Ping as well. Not exactly
Yep.
the latest and greatest, but again, when you find something that works, I'm sure he's got several sets in the garage ready to pull out if loses a face or as the grooves start to wear out over time, especially as much as he probably beats balls. So um sometimes you, especially with irons, I don't think you need um the latest and greatest. The tech, especially in a forged iron, you're not going to get much change year to year
Yeah.
from irons.
I think it's a pretty looking iron. Uh Kind of really not confusing, but really I'm more surprised that he's playing the I-210. I mean, you got the I-50, you got the 59s coming back, you got the blueprints. There's so many pretty ping clubs that, are really not going to mess you up. For him to be playing essentially a low handicap player's iron and enjoying it and winning
Right.
with it is pretty insane to me. But, you like what you like. The top line is thin enough. He probably gets a lot of workability out of it, or enough workability, and probably gets a little bit of a juice face because it is more of a player improvement iron. So yeah, I think that's kind of like one of the coolest things about Vic right now.
Yeah. And just for put it on the record, this is a iron that was released in 2018. So
Yep.
7-year old iron there. And on the wedges, he's actually been a big proponent of ping wedges, which that's not common. Even though I think by testing standards, my golf spy really rates the ping wedges um, kind of near the top. I mean, I still think Vokey's the industry leader, and you know they've got such a lead on everybody that it's hard to overtake them. But
Yeah.
Ping's actually had some pretty decent reviews. He's playing the 50 degree and 56 degree in the S159, and then the Ping Glide 2.0 in his 60 degree. I always love getting your thoughts just for those out there watching on the bounce. I don't know why I thought the bounce on the 60 seemed relatively low. Could be conditions on the course. Tell me what your thoughts are on the bounce there.
Yeah. It is pretty low. I mean, usually when you're looking at a 60, you're probably in 4 degrees of bounce. Something where you can really open it up, really, open the face and play a flop if needed. That's your most versatile club when you're playing a 60. You don't really hit full shots with it. So you want to have that versatility of being able to lay that edge down, not have it catch. And I think that's one of the best parts about, I think that's why he gravitates towards the glide for the 60 degree, because the glide is one of those, it's one of those wedges where it literally, it's in the title of the wedge. It glides more than others. It doesn't really
Mm,
stick. It doesn't really have like a jabby type motion. It won't allow you to. So I think that allows him to kind of get his short game more in order and give him that confidence that he didn't previously have. So 6 degrees is kind of, that's still pretty low, but I mean my 58 is 8 degrees of bounce, and I would say that's
right.
on the higher side of things. I really want to look into getting a lower bounce on a 58 and seeing what that feels like. But as of now, I have no complaints. So 6 degrees is right in the middle of what you would call low to high bounce with a higher lofted wedge, a lob wedge, that is.
Yeah. And then not finishing him off, but Ping PLD DS72. I really like the finish on this Ping putter. You're seeing a lot more players with this kind of oil can type of finish.
Hmm.
I'm a mallet. I'm a half mallet guy, so this one looks attractive to me all day. Looks like he's got a lot of face real estate to work with as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Ping does a great job with putters. Really solid product. I mean, outside of just finish and professionalism, I think Ping, it goes Scotty Cameron, Ping, and then you kind of get into the Callaway, Toulon lineup in terms of just kind of quality materials and just looks
Yeah.
like you'd be willing to pay $500, $600 for a putter that looks like this. Um, not a lot of adjustability. I don't think this has a lot of weight adjustment that you can make on it, but again, just looks great to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's really it's top three to me. As far as like major manufacturers, I mean, it doesn't get much better than Odyssey and Ping. They really kind of set the standard as far as that goes. Um, we really, and honestly, we just got in their new line. The face looks great. Um, they have I mean, I don't know. As far as the product goes, if it was, I still have a Ping putter in my closet just in case. And it's a wide blade. And I love it. It's a black face. It's not an insert. It's got like I don't know how to explain it. It's called the cushion four. Look it up, friends.
Okay.
It's the cushion four. It's a great one.
Are
But
are you
yeah,
pro insert or pro milled face? What do you prefer?
I'm pro milled face now. It's the work that they've done. It's receptive enough. The roll is great. Um, I mean, I don't know. We were spoiled. We started with Nike Method putters. Feel like they had a really amazing insert. It was hard to recapture that as far as softness and reception and forgiveness and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we got spoiled. So I'm not really trying to ever go back to insert. So the AI one and the Odyssey putter and stuff. I don't. It's cool. I like it. I like the navy. I like the gold, but yeah, it's not for me. I'm sorry.
Cool. And then pretty standard. He's playing the Titleist Pro V1 ball. He's played Titleist his whole entire career. Hasn't strayed from that. So no surprises there. And I think I saw a little blurb the other day that he had returned to his Nike Roche shoes from a couple of seasons ago as well, which they don't.
The Rossi
I don't think
tour.
they even. Yeah, they don't produce that tour anymore. They still have the mesh ones, but not the tour. So I don't know how many of those he's got in the closet to alternate through. But I mean, I've always been a big proponent of shoes I don't know, like there's certain shoes that I just play better in.
No, for
You
sure.
know, so like feels, I like the running shoe type of fit. A lot of the Nike adaptations of running shoes have fit me well. Um, I have some good rounds in some of my FJs, but then there's some shoes that I suck in, and I just don't like.
Yeah,
So I'm, you like what you like when you're on the course, and clearly, Victor Hovland has also said I got to try something after having a
yeah.
year and a half of struggle play. So, so shout out to him. That's his what's in the bag. Hopefully, we get to see him playing and performing well throughout the remainder of this season, and is able to pick back up on the momentum going less than 2 years ago. Um, let's hit some auxiliary issues around the Valspar. JT collapsed to me, man. Like Victor Hovland had to go make some birdies. He was down three with a few holes to go. But JT also bogeyed 16 and 18. So not a great finish. Going down the stretch with the lead, he has also struggled. They were, talking about his drought since 2022, his PGA Championship, when he was almost kind of handed that. It made me go back and think about that particular win specifically. And no, it's not an accident that you go get a major, but we saw Mito Pereira completely fall apart on the 18 in that PGA Championship at Southern Hills. At this point of his career, would you say Justin Thomas is overrated, underrated? Kind of, we rate him what he is. What are your thoughts on him right now, and then especially coming off of Sunday's slight collapse?
Um, I don't know, man. I wouldn't really call it a collapse per se, just bad timing. I mean, the dude shot 65, 66 on the weekend to even be in contention. So I don't know if you could really call it a collapse. I think it was just poor
He,
timing. I mean,
okay.
he went birdie 12, 14, and 15 to even get in that situation. 16 was a poor decision. He really had he had a good club in his hand. He had his 3 wood or his 5 wood that he's just a monster with. He could have just laid up, hit his little patented cut, but he wanted to hit a driver. I just think that was a bad decision. I didn't even see what happened on 18. But yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a not this week. I'm not a JT defender, but I don't really call that a collapse. I mean, he went
Okay.
again. I mean, he shot
I
11
mean, I
on the
think.
weekend.
I mean, yeah, he shot a number, but he needed to shoot two less than that. I mean, all things considered, right now his miss has been that right. Speaking of, I'm just looking over here on the TGL coverage, and he just missed an iron to the right of a green, and you could tell. Like, so he struggled with that right hand miss pretty much when he would miss this weekend. That was it. Um, really plagued him the first couple of days of tournament play. I don't know, man. I feel like at this stage, he's kind of right where he's at. I feel like
Yeah,
he's his window was a couple of years ago to just really take off and keep it going. Right? It's the same thing we saw with Jordan Spieth when they were the guys. They took advantage of the opportunity, and now that we're seeing all this young talent come up really quickly, being unafraid. You have until about your 30s to like capture that magic and get the momentum going for yourself and stay on top of it, or somebody's gonna come up and take your spot. And I feel like right now, JT is a really good player. I don't know if we'll ever see the greatness that we saw in him in the early 2020s. Again, I don't know. It seems like he's
yeah,
searching. Doesn't seem the most confident in himself either. So I don't know. We'll see. It's not a lost cause. He can probably. I think his career probably looks like Davis Love, the third to me. Gets wins. Maybe a couple of more majors spread out over time. Maybe later in his career, but completely dominating. I don't think we'll see that again.
I agree. I mean, his run as far as dominance goes is for sure done. I mean, I don't think I think he still has some wins in him. I think he still has a couple of good seasons left. I mean, he has all the way up until 40, really, realistically. He's what, 32 or 33 or something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe not even that. Maybe 31 or something like that. I mean, he's definitely not, he's in his 30s, but not close to me in age. I feel like JT's more close to me in age than anything. I mean, Spieth is, but they're the same age, so no.
So JT is 31, turns 32 here in April, end of April.
Okay. Oh, phew.
So I mean, he's
Good
got a
luck.
lot of career. Yeah, he's got a lot of career left. He looks aged. His face is
He's
not
been out
aged
there.
well.
Yeah, they've been pro since they were what, 1920? It's
Right.
been many
Very,
years.
very little college golf.
Yeah.
But like I said, the young talent is coming for the spots. They're not playing around.
Yeah.
You know what? Vic Hovland's got to be what, like 27, 28.
Yeah,
The youth
27, I think.
movement, the youth movement is not afraid of anybody. So, they're like, we gave you your chance, and if you didn't take advantage of it, before I got out here, good luck to you. So,
Yeah.
um, we got guys like Nick Dunlap could pop up and get his life together real quick, and get back in the winning circle. He's highly talented. There's just a lot of
Right.
guys that, I'm not even going to go through the list. Yeah, Vic Collins, 27. So, anyway,
Luke
keep him
Quinn,
rolling.
Carl Phillips,
Oh yeah, right. We're talking about guys that are just getting started. Kieran, I
22,
think is going to be
23.
good.
Yeah. There's so many
Yeah,
names. I mean, I don't know how many times we got to harp on this, but the talent on the tour is still deep. Whatever you want to say is deep.
yeah.
It's not watchable. Who are these guys? Winning
Nah, man.
millionaires, hoopers. What are
Right.
we talking about?
Like, and just so I can publicly take a shot at him, Tom McKibben looked at these new crop of guys that got to have the it factor. And
He
he's
ain't
like,
got it.
let me. He does not have the it factor. I'm telling you, man, watching him interview on the DP World Tour this weekend, super awkward. Just looks like hard to market, man. Got a face
Yo,
that only a mother could love.
he would have been better off actually answering the questions that one week when we was talking about it. When it first came out and he was talking about it with Rory at the Irish Open, he should have just went
Yeah,
out and said some shit. Like we would have been able to at least figure out who Tom McKibben was. Because people were still like, who? He's going to
he-
live? They picked another nobody? Like at least give us something
right,
to come off of. Oh well,
right.
it's in the discussions. You never know. I might go, I might not. I mean, I'm playing really good golf. I'm just give us something.
Mm,
Give us a
right.
teaser,
Get a sound bite out there, just so people just make
please.
a splash. Go make a
Make your name
splash.
searchable. Like
He,
nobody's
he
googling Tom McKibben, bro.
he's very much a clone of David Puig, right? Where young talent kind of built the same, very slight but talented golfers, no doubt.
Yeah,
But in terms of like catching the next level, they just don't have it.
yeah,
And I think just the lack of reps. I mean, again, McKibben's playing quite a bit on the DP World Tour. I think we've even seen Puig, but closing it out and getting a win on one of these tours, I think it's going to be tough for those guys. But
not in the cards.
yeah, yeah. This coming up week we have the Houston Open. I always want to call it the Shell Houston Open, but I forget who's the new sponsor for the Houston
It's
Open.
Texans Children's.
That's right. So notable cause. Um, Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, the notables, teeing it up. I think this is honestly what the PGA Tour has been wanting. Is every week going to have 10 stars? The no, but to have some names that
Yeah,
Scotty Scheffler with the Texas connection, Rory trying to play him, trying to keep himself, warm, coming off of the players, didn't want to sit out until the Masters, I'm sure. So, um, the Memorial course has gotten a lot of pub from the guys.
yeah,
Become one of those after the redesign. one of those respected courses that guys show up to play. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. The weather's probably going to be pretty decent. I know it is here in North Texas. So
No.
going to be a nice weekend before it gets too warm, right?
Well, hopefully Friday it doesn't come down on us, but it's supposed to
Oh, that's
be
right. They're right.
Thursday, Friday, Thursday 67% chance, Friday 91% chance, and then the weekend is supposed to be perfect. Mid 80s,
Uh,
70s to start, 20% chance, kind of partly cloudy, not too much wind and stuff like that. So if they can get past that, but Memorial is unfortunately on the side of downtown where clouds collect. I don't know what it is about the way that Houston is built or how the storms come in, but downtown, outskirts of downtown really begin hit with the storm. So it being a flatter course, I don't know if they'll have the right amount of turf to
the
recover.
drainage. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've been watering it to death to make sure the grass and fairways and stuff is good, but I don't know. All right, we got rain last night in Houston, and it straightened our course out perfectly. Like we were pretty dry, pretty bare.
Yeah.
2 weeks, two
You
and a half
needed it.
weeks, no rain. We needed it. So we were still 90 degrees. It turned out perfect, but we also don't, what I would call overwater our course and do maintenance on it like that. So Memorial
Yeah.
getting it ready for pros, it might be a different situation. They might already have a lot of water collecting, and then with the storms and stuff coming, could be sloppy, could
Well,
be a lot of
ho- ho-
longer shots
hopefully
in.
they just spot watered. And are y'all green already, or never went into dormancy, or what's y'all's?
No, 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 no. We're still pretty dormant out here. It's coming back, but we are just now getting into warmer temps consistently. I mean, we had a little cold flash last weekend. Not this one we just went, but the one before that. I mean, it got into like the 40s and 50s. It was windy. People was buying jackets. I mean, yeah, we were still in it a little bit just a week ago. So we're
We'll
not far
snap.
removed. Right.
Okay.
So
But
if they can get past that, I
the
think yes, you're right.
yeah, not like I said. The original point is that PGA Tour has desired to have the stars play. It's where these elevated events have come from. They want to see
Yeah.
stars teeing it up, and through luck of the schedule, luck of the draw. Again, some of the venues have improved, upgraded. That we're seeing people find reasons to come out and play. Valspar, pretty stacked for a kind of in between the players week before, 2 weeks out from the Masters, got a pretty
Yeah.
good showing, right? We saw Xander Schauffele, we saw JT, we saw Hovland, just notable names that made you want to tune in. Again, Hovland said, and then at post round interview, one of the toughest courses that they play. So
Right.
clearly, Innisbrook getting a lot of respect. So shout out to the PJ Tour taking the hits over these last couple of years. But I think, it's a more recency bias that people were shitting on them, right? They thought they had something better for a little bit.
Yeah.
But PJ Tour has been able to withstand the punches and actually listen to the feedback and
Yeah.
improve their game. And again, Innisbrook was another course with rough, grown up. They didn't make it easy, didn't make it some, shoot 'em low fest, and actually made it competitive golf. So
Yeah.
kudos to the PGA Tour for listening to what people are saying. Um, you sent me an article earlier today. I'll throw it in the description after. I didn't get to load up all my article links, but it was Jordan Spieth. I'm going to paraphrase. So I don't want to get it wrong, but essentially saying, is he playing the best golf of his life right now? Clearly not. But he also said the same thing about 2015 when he won, that he feels like the Masters is the easiest major to win just because the field's a little bit tighter than the others. While the course is incredibly hard, he feels like you still can go in there not playing your best golf catch fire that particular week and still win. I don't know if that was just to me initially, and maybe it's because I have a bad taste in my mouth about Jordan Spieth from a few weeks ago, and comments that he made around not getting into an elevated event, feeling like he deserved it, although he was hurt. And then I just have a bad taste. But initially, when you sent it to me and I read the article, I was just like, dude, shut up. What are you talking about? I mean, to win at the Masters at Augusta National, you have to still play good that week. So what do you think about the comments? What was your reaction initially? Do you still feel the same way?
I honestly, I really thought it came out of left field. I thought it was very weird. I didn't think, it's like, I don't know. It's like when you and your boy are roasting each other, then all of a sudden the third homie, the third wheel starts talking, and it's like, I know you ain't talking. Like unprovoked, he started just flaming Augusta for what? I just like, what did it do to you, bro? Like, I just really didn't know where he was coming from with that. That's why when I sent it to
Right.
you, all I could say was interesting because this is so strange. It really didn't. It didn't do anything for me. Like, but it. Right. I'm literally driving in a cart on the course to check something else out, and it pops up on my like For You search. I'm like, hold up, what is this? And it's on Newsweek,
Right.
and I'm like, what is this? What did I luck upon? And it's Jordan being a weirdo. Like, it's so strange to me. Bro, you have to play top tier golf. Now, Rod, you said it best. This is horses for courses. So some people are gonna ring off a lot better at Augusta than others. But when that's one of your majors that you've won, I don't really think you should be throwing strays at that thing. That's all I'm saying.
I still feel like he has I still feel like he has trauma from the year that he gave it away and lost his crap in A-man corner. So it's interesting. I had to go look at it. I had to go look back. Him and JT's career, it's actually kind of funny how closely they mirror each other. So if one's going well, the other one seems to be going well. So I looked back. That RBC Heritage win that Jordan Spieth had was already 3 years ago. That was 2022. And it doesn't even feel like that was that long ago, but with the injury, swing change, I'm like, yeah, that actually makes sense. So he'll be hitting year 3 of the winless drought for him as well. Didn't made the cut, got to play the weekend at the Valspar, but didn't play great either. So I don't know, man. Like you said, out of left field, third wheel homie that just kind of stepped into the room out of context and just started saying something crazy.
Just got crazy work, bro. Like for what?
Like, sir, go back to whatever you were doing in the kitchen before you stepped in here. Like, chill out.
Damn, it really has been 2022.
Yeah. Yep. I know, right? Time just flies on by. Let's hit one more PGA Tour related story, and then we will touch on Live, and then move on with our lives really quickly on the Live stuff. And it's just because I want to gloat. So, we both were. I don't know. I said I was gonna do a little long form video essay.
I found out this information and I didn't want to know it. Let me just say that. Let me preface by saying that.
Right. But it doesn't even make sense. So let's pull it up here. Share.
On all social media.
It's everywhere, right? You can't avoid the Tiger post. It's actually kind of weird the way it all was posted. So love is in the air. Life is better when with you by my side. We look forward to our journey in life together. Um, at this time, we would appreciate privacy to all those close to our hearts. So you hard launched it and then
And
asked for
then said
privacy
back
at the
back.
same time.
And then said back in the same sentence. Okay,
I don't get it, bro. I don't
I
get
don't
it.
either. This picture is like so funny because it's like, oh, I really like am ready to love. I'm 50 now, but also it's still kind of like I'm playa. He ain't even got his arm wrapped around her or nothing, bro.
No,
You
worst.
off an Achilles, bro. Go get some
Who
rest.
who took the picture? Because it's
Right,
awfully it's horribly staged. She looks
Sam.
awkward. He looks awkward.
Sam, it might have been Charlie if it's awkward.
you,
Truly.
you know who I'm really just sad for when you mention that. I'm sad for the kids. At the end of the day, I don't know. I'm sad for the kids. Just Tiger. I would have been fine seeing him live the bachelor life for the rest of his life, getting numbers, walking to a tee box. Just that's who I know Tiger to be. We know he ain't
Right.
settling down. I feel like they got something on Tiger. He's been real involved with the first family currently, and this is apparently the ex-wife of one of the Trump sons.
The,
So
the son, Junior.
like, bro, you're getting like it's weird. I just literally don't get it. Um, feels forced, but yeah, I'm in a weird, complicated place with Tiger right now in my own brain.
No, true. I mean, true. It's you want to call him the C word, but it's been that way his whole life. He's been fighting those allegations his whole life. So, man,
And then he almost gets it right because he'll pay homage to a Lee Elder, who's the guy from the Players that I'm brain fart. I
oh,
need to take a
Charlie
nap.
Sifford, or are you talking about
Yeah,
Calvin Pete?
Calvin Pete. He talks about all the legends of the game that influenced him, but then I mean, bro, like I don't know. I feel like a sister would have changed Tiger's entire life in a good way, right? Like
Right,
I don't know,
right.
but could have balanced him out a little bit. But to each his own. I mean, your preference is your preference. So
Go be happy,
yeah,
Eldrick. Go be happy,
yeah.
man. Whatever.
And don't ever in your life post anything else like that again. Don't force us to see that that way.
So as quick as he posted was as quick as Zaire Golf, Golf Digest. I mean, what Instagram golf like verified didn't post it like immediately?
E- ESPN posted a full story on it today.
Right? Like who did it know? Everybody knew. And
Right, the
again,
signs were
against their
there.
will. This is like YouTube to me. Why is YouTube on my phone all of a sudden? Why is Tiger coming across my screen 7 times out of 9 posts? Let me just look at my Tiger highlights in peace on YouTube,
from
please.
from Case of the Shanks. You just like I just want to see posts from Case of the Shanks on
Thank
Tiger
you.
Tuesdays and
Yeah, give me scratch. Give me scratch, please. Somebody help me.
so I guess we could have seen this coming as we've been seeing him post about him hanging out with Kai Trump, who finished 24th out of 24 in the Sage Valley,
Yeah,
invitational for the kids this weekend.
yeah.
So
Charlie, 16 out of 24. Woo. Mm.
hey, it's not dead last, but I don't know. We'll see if Charlie recognizes his potential at some point. Um, quick note, just because we don't like Sergio Garcia, just a lifelong spoiled brat, missed a 3-foot putt to get into the Open Championship this year. He has
Sneaky.
he has not made it the last couple of years. Gets to see a few of his fellow live competitors make it in. I think Jason Kokrak was one of those gentlemen. But Sergio not
Jason
able to do
Kokrak of
it.
all people.
I know, right? But well,
You know what though,
I'm
Rod?
I can never forget the way that Sergio Garcia left the PGA Tour. Um,
Crying.
yelling at a
He left it crying.
yelling at a rules official about I can't wait till I'm no longer on this tour. Just complete trash human being, has proven it over and over again. I've never heard somebody other than a fellow Spaniard say a good thing about Sergio Garcia. You just don't hear it. So
Right. But hey, I gave him a few golf claps. He for some strange reason they feel not prideful enough to feel like they can at least go to a qualifier now. So kudos to them for thinking
true.
they are not better than others, like apparently the greatest iron player that ever lived, Taylor Gooch, is too good to go to qualifiers. So
Ever since that statement was
anybody know
made,
what
Taylor
his
Gooch
world
has
rank
been
point is?
MIA.
Anybody know what his
Got to be in the
let's look that up.
got to be in the
Taylor
200s.
Taylor Gooch official golf world ranking. Let's look. Let's look. Taylor go.
I'm telling you,
Woo! Current
Greg Norman cursed.
official. mm, Current official world golf ranking rank is 1,393rd.
Wow, wow, you crazy. Marcus is wild for that laugh. You crazy. All right, let's keep it rolling. Our ladies are back this week playing in Arizona at the Ford Championship. I think this is the second year for this event. Nelly Corda
Second year.
won the inaugural playing of this event. It was actually at a pretty nice course. Which if you've seen desert golf, if you've seen it one place, they kind of start looking the same. Anytime I see people playing in Arizona or New Mexico, um, it's hard to distinctively differentiate between the courses. But either way, they're typically always nice. I'll say that. So that's a bonus. But really nice course. Last year, I think they had some late night finishes just because of slow play. But I'm looking forward to seeing the ladies tee it back up coming off of their Asian swing. Any comments before we keep it moving?
Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out. They're playing at Whirlwind, I think. So nice course, like you said, prestigious Arizona course in the Phoenix area, whatnot. Um, let's not forget, Rod. This is the first week of the slow play implements.
That's true. Let's see. Is Carlotta Saganda in the lineup for this week? Because the ladies slow play is very penal. Let's pull that up.
Oh my God. Let's see.
All right. Okay, I'm pulling it up.
Can it let me look
So
at
this
the
was
field, bro?
yeah. You look up the field. I'll look up the slow play rules. So there is a. We'll go just the black and white terms. So new penalty structure for plus times. 1 to 5 seconds over time, there is a fine. Plus 6 to 15 seconds, there's a 1-stroke penalty. Plus 16 seconds, it's a 2-stroke penalty. Mind you, the standard time after your competitor has taken their shot is 45 seconds. 10-second allowance changes. The first to hit on a par 4 and par and 5s will no longer receive an additional 10 seconds except on reachable par 4s. The first to hit on par 3s, approach shots, and putts will still receive the extra 10 seconds. So
Yeah, we're getting all of
yeah.
our hard hitters. Christy Kerr is somehow in this. Stacey Lewis is somehow in this. Um, let's see. Let's see. Any other funny names? Nope. But Carolina Saganda is in the field. So
Ooh, she's putting herself at risk. I mean, that's we. I know. I didn't even want to get into it, but apparently the guys are having a good time talking about stroking people, and it's turned into a little bit of an inside joke on
oh yeah,
tour.
they wild.
But
They super pause worthy.
but no doubt, costing yourself strokes during the course of play, I think will definitely impact people's movements. I mean, golf just doesn't have to be played that slow. You can work out
Right.
your yardages while the other players are getting ready to hit. It's just outside of like super windy conditions, which I'm sure they will make allowances for. It's just gotten to a ridiculous point, and the fact that on the men's game they've been mentioning it over and over again, especially in the early
Yeah.
parts of the season. I would love for them to implement a policy like this. I mean, it's pretty fair to keep it real, and also get away from some of these. I'm seeing a lot. It seems like at this point, early in the season, I've seen a lot of rounds. I get the alert, suspended for due to darkness. Quite a
Yeah.
few early rounds have been going that way on the men's tour. So I'm very interested to see how it plays out this week, and if anybody gets stroked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to go back to that week. You leave me no one. The final group played in like 348, 350, or something like that. It's doable
Right.
walking. So ain't no excuses if the lead group is doing it and they playing behind everybody, waiting on everybody. So I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I think the other day,
All the
out at
best
Cedar
players on the
Crest,
LPGA like fast play too. Nelly,
they want to.
Charlie,
They like.
Lilia, all them. They play fast. They play fast.
Yeah.
They already know what they finna do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I played a walking round at Cedar Crest the other day in 3 hours flat. So
Yeah,
just
very
just get up
easily
there and hit the ball.
accomplishable.
Get
Right.
get
I
yardage and hit
think
the ball.
now one thing that I will say that might be tricky, also like you said with the windy conditions, you think that the time stops as soon as they address the ball, and then obviously if something happens and they back off of it and then have to re-club, is the time going to continue or does the time just
I
stop? As long as they
I
can,
think that's
as long as they
I think
originally.
that's I think that's where that 10-second buffer comes in that they were talking about at the end of the rules,
Okay.
right? On a reset. It wasn't addressed directly. And I don't expect them to be super hardliners, but I know this allows for interpretation for the ones that are just flagrant, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
there's
yeah.
still going to be some wiggle room, but I mean, if you're just being extra ridiculous and you're out of position, and I think that's also the point. Stay next to the group in front of you. Keep
Right.
up with the pace, right? I mean, there's often a hole where you need a ruling, where multiple players on the same hole need a ruling, where that's reasonable and can be accounted for. But if
Yeah.
we're just in an open fairway or around the green, you don't need to read it from all four angles of the putt. That just is getting ridiculous. The aim
Right. Do
point,
your work.
guys and
Do your
gals.
work when everybody else is doing theirs, bro. Like, I mean, you've played practice rounds on the course already. You've seen the
Right.
pin locations. You've putted and hit golf balls in your practice rounds to these positions. What are we talking about here?
Yep. You
On the
you have
pros,
more information than you
then
need,
you
right?
need.
You
So you
so
overanalyzing for what? But I think one thing that's also crazy to me is you're in the pro ranks. I'm not saying that station to station golf is fun, but you're in the middle of the you're in your middle of your round. It should be station to station. You should be teeing off and then looking, and then as you walk down, you should be looking at the people on the green. As you approach the ball, they should be walking
Right.
off. You should be assessing your shit. LPGA gets rangefinders. Again, what is taking so long? You know what? You
Yeah,
know
don't
what?
get angry. But
I'm
even
getting
I
passionate.
hate even small things, right? It's just like you walk past, even though they don't have, there's still sprinkler heads out there, right?
Right.
They're usually still marked for the 200, 150, 100. So if you pass one of those landmarks, go ahead and start
Walking
stepping it
off.
off as
Yeah.
you're going towards your ball. Don't go to your ball and then come back, or it's just so many ways. It's kind of like when I do go walk a course and I'm playing with other walkers and they're just very inefficient. So I'm always, if there's an opportunity for me to go put my cart and my clubs next to the next
Next
hole,
to the
next tee
next
box,
hole.
if it's
Yep.
close,
Hmm.
you do that. There's
Yeah.
this one course here in Dallas where you walk to the green, but you're leaving your cart on one side. You walk across the tee box for the next hole. I always take my driver and go put it on the tee
You take your
box.
driver, yeah, you take your driver, your putter, a wedge if you need it. You walk onto the
Yeah,
tee box and you come back and get your cart. It's very
pretty
easy.
simple
It's
stuff.
very
I
efficient.
mean, and
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how that 15 seconds adds up here and there, doing small things to have an efficient round, and it doesn't take you out of your game in the least bit. So,
Right.
the last little story I do want to hit that's still related to the ladies' game is Lisa Cornwell, who's a former Golf Channel alum, left the channel, I want to say about 4 years ago. Kind of doing her own thing, really posted quite a bit on the on X, Twitter, still around the game of golf. Talks about what
Hmm.
the women's game, is an advocate for the women's game. But she made a very good point. I saw this tweet the other day and just thought it was interesting. And she's advocating for the LPGA. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it's for the next commissioner and advocating for them to pick better sites, particularly for the majors. And I think initially what caught my eye is she mentioned Carlton Woods, which is in your neck of the woods, no pun intended. The Woodlands, Texas, north of Houston. They have two courses there, and they've moved the Chevron Open, which used to be the ANA, out in California with Poppy's Pond and them diving into the water at the conclusion of that tournament. Moved it to Houston a couple of years ago. Said it's lost its pizzazz. And essentially, her point is that if you golf has the unique ability that the courses can bring people into the game, has nothing to do with star players, but people want to go see courses, that are unique or have historic just feel to them. And so I was
Yeah.
like, that's a really good point. There's really no emotional connection for really anybody other than maybe somebody who's native to the Houston area, a member at Carlton Woods, that would give a damn about this now LPGA major being on this course. And I get it, Chevron's pouring a ton of money into the women's game, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't host that at another venue. What do you think about this mindset?
Yeah. I agree. I've been out to Carlton Woods. It's a very nice course. It's very prestigious amongst Houstonians. But yeah, it's exactly that. Unfortunately, it just doesn't really present well to crowds. It's not really that accessible. Um, and also, it's just not really. It's not that good.
I was gonna say the same thing. It doesn't even present that well on TV. It's not like this
Yeah,
super pristine course.
yeah. It's tough, but yeah, I agree. I agree. It could definitely be better. You're coming from the ANA though, which was
Yeah,
picture perfect, finishing hole, drop. Reachable in
the
part
par
in
five.
two. Yeah, I mean, it had a perfect little finishing hole, but we can't all play at Seminole. We all can't play, at the prestigious Florida clubs and stuff like that, because you know how they are. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think if the ladies can get on at Bethpage, or
Shh.
Harding Park,
Crazy.
Harding Park,
Just
public,
fi-
prestigious. I mean, come on.
yeah. Find some venue that we all know and care about, and stay there in the same way that they were at
Right.
Mission Hills forever, right?
Forever.
Again, I get the reasons why they did it, but moving where your current sponsor is located for a major just seems like a bit of a
It's a
short-sighted
force.
deal, right? It's almost like if Firestone started doing amazing and they took away, you know, Augusta National and said,
Right.
Firestone's now the sponsor for the Masters. We're moving it up to the Firestone courses. Like, what? It just didn't
Yeah.
make sense. So, and I think, I know most things are a progression. We've talked about how the ladies have made some big strides in terms of the courses that they're playing, particularly for the Open Championship. How they're doing some of the mirroring with the men's schedule, where they're playing the what's that tournament? The warm up to the Open Championship,
Scottish.
not Scottish Open, right? They're getting
Yep.
links golf in their system prior to. They've had some really good locations for their PGA Championship and U.S.
And the
Opens
U.S.
here
Open. Yeah.
recently. Yeah, so I think they're on the right track. I think she makes a great point that we start off the season kind of soft at Carlton Woods. So I would love to see them, before they get too deep into it. Either Carlton Woods needs to step their game up. I'm interested to see how the course looks this year. But you can
Yeah.
just tell, kind of around some of the water features, you're like, that's not a very polished course. That looks like a Muni to a
Yeah.
certain degree. So we'll see how that goes and if they can step up. But I think, there's a lot of money pouring into the women's game, and I think they've done a good job of taking advantage of opportunities. I agree. We've talked about how bad their commissioner has been. Um, so
Yep.
they got that lady up out of there last year. They're like,
They
"Ma'am,
got it. Hey,
you
they got
are
a month, man.
you messing us up. You going to you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here."
Yeah.
So take note, Jay Monahan. But anyway, looking forward to the ladies playing this weekend. Looking forward to hopefully, even if it's a rain out in Houston, we'll have the ladies to supplement. DP World Tour always at it. What else you got before we hop off, man?
Um.
Tank Mavs. I think
Yeah.
I
Hopefully
think
the Mavs win.
hopefully I know AD came back, and I know think it's Gafford and somebody else is doing some rehab in the D
Lively.
League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
Derek
both in
Lively.
the Legends system. We'll see, man.
So hopefully everybody comes down with like violent diarrhea and is not able to play the rest of the season. Just go get another pick and call it a day. But getting into the play in tournament just to lose, what for, man? The
Yeah.
season's
No.
gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. It's done. It's done.
It's so done. Um, yeah. Shout out to Nico Harrison. May you have the life and day that you deserve, sir.
Jeez, man.
All right, we'll end it there. The Bearded Bros Golf Show. You know who we are. We're here every week. We will catch y'all next week. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus. Wow.
Laters. Screen got dark and everything, huh?
That was quite. Right. You gonna end the stream? You just left me?